Hi, I'm Bill Whitson. I work for Intuit in the Accounting Professionals Division. I'm a learning consultant tasked with creating and publishing training programs to make you more productive using our software. When we decided to create some videos demonstrating productivity tips, I couldn't help but think of some of the time-saving shortcuts in Lacerte. I use Lacerte to prepare tax returns as well and can really do things much faster in Lacerte when I remember to use some of the many embedded keystrokes and some of the other shortcuts that are readily available. Let me show you.
I've broken this demonstration into three main parts: the client list, the detail input, and the forms view. And don't worry, all of these plus more are available in the quick start PDF that accompanies this video. So at the client display, we do a lot of client-related functions. One keystroke here that I think is really handy is the ability to search using the built-in keyboard. So we look in the left-hand corner, the search is active based on the leftmost column on the client display. So if I'm sorting by last name first, and I want to jump right down to client whose last name begins with Smith or starts with S, I simply type that on the keyboard and it will jump me right down there. Another keystroke you'll use in conjunction with that is the enter key, because then all I have to do is press enter to open the client file. You'll see that enter and escape are really valuable keystrokes in the Lacerte program. In this case, if I hit escape, it'll escape me back out to the client list. You can also use this in the detail input as you go into input screens and escape back out to the contents tab, or even escape further out. And we'll show you more about that when we talk about detail input. Another thing you do at the client list is often selecting more than one client. Three ways to do it. You click on a client, you can use Shift or Control and click the next client. You can also use your arrow key and your space bar to go through and kind of tag those clients if you're going to be doing things like batch printing or batch extension or batch e-file. So you can actually highlight more than one client. If you need to highlight all of your clients, you press F3, and that brings up the client group selection. Press enter and it will highlight all those clients, and then you can go run your report or do whatever it is you were wanting to do with your client data list there. Another one that I like is Control A to add a new client. And you're going to see on the client menu, as well as the other menus, the keystrokes are actually listed out there next to the function. Another one that you'll find really valuable is Control Alt and the first letter of the module. So if I'm in the individual program and I want to jump to partnerships, I press Control Alt P for partnership. Control Alt I toggles me right back over to the individual module. This is an especially beneficial one when you're going between modules a lot. So those are my favorite keystrokes from the client list. Next, we're going to move into the detail input. And like I said before, I can press enter to open the client file and go into the detail input. From here, there's a couple keystrokes that I think are really critical. One is the ability to actually type the number of the screen and press enter. So if I wanted to go into screen 16, I type in 16 and press enter, and it takes me into that input screen. I said before, escape goes backwards. If I escape one time, it takes me to my schedule list, and hit escape again, it takes me back to the contents area here, and if I escape again, it will take me all the way back out of the client file. So that's a good one. Another thing to know about is Control Page Down. That's a good one to know too. Control Page Down is the same as you see as I go through this screen. It's the same as clicking this left-hand list over here. Whereas Page Up and Page Down tend to just randomly jump you down the screens, and it's really hard to be organized in a way of navigation that way. So I don't recommend Page Up and Page Down. I recommend Control Page Up and Control Page Down. Another one that I'd like to show you, using the Control key, is the ability to do what I call a jump to the same line in the next item. So let's say, for example, if I was in this depreciation screen, and I wanted to verify or check prior depreciation for all of these assets. Well, holding the Control key and doing the down arrow, I can go down to the same line in the next asset. And this will work in any screen where you've got multiple items. So Control down arrow allows me to go through and either enter or verify the numbers. Control up arrow takes me back up the list. So it's a real fast way to navigate to the same line or the same field in the next item down. So Control down arrow and Control up arrow is a real good one to remember. Another one that I like to remember when it comes time to keying in information off organizers is Control N. Control N opens up the organizer input, and then organizer input, what it does, the program takes away all the extra screens that wouldn't be included as part of the organizer, and even the screens that it does include, they're truncated to look just like the organizer page, so that we've eliminated all the extra inputs that wouldn't be on an organizer page. And these are really good screens to use when you're inputting right off the organizer. That's on the detail menu. It's called Organizer Input, Control N. You can toggle between the two. If you go back out and come in, it'll always go back into normal input mode. So I think Control N is a good one. Another one you might find yourself using is Copy and Paste Property. So this would work in a screen like non-cash contributions or stock transactions. I'll even demonstrate it here in Schedule C. There's no keystroke for it, but if you go to the detail menu and do copy property, then go to detail and paste property, the program will make an exact replicant of that entire item. So all the inputs are there. It replicated the exact same thing. Then I could go through and make adjusting entries as needed to make that one not be exactly the same. If I had lots of transactions that were very similar, this copy and paste property is a great resource, a great keystroke, or a shortcut, I should say, to have within the detail input. Last one I'll leave you with is Alt-F to go to the Forms tab. It's a great resource, and we'll talk about the Forms tab the next part of this, but Alt-D for detail takes me back into input, or Escape will do the same thing. Now here at the Forms tab, there's a few keystrokes that I think come in really handy, especially when I'm reviewing returns here on screen. One of which is just a simple page up and page down, as that will actually take me through the entire tax return. I can also use the Control left and right arrow keys, and what you're going to see is at the bottom of the screen, I'm actually going through the lower tabs. So these are the keystrokes that take me through those lower tabs. So that's a good one to have. Another one is F11. F11 will pop this thing into full screen, so I can eliminate all the real estate that's being taken up by the icons and the other program areas. If I hit Escape or F11, we'll toggle me back into normal mode here. The other one that I think is a real big when it comes time to review is, generally, as a practitioner, you probably don't go review the 1040 very first thing as you're reviewing a tax return. Most people I know prefer to use the tax summary. The problem is you have to go click it, or you have to type a T for tax summary to get there, when really that should be the first form that comes up. You can take any form in the program and make it the default form viewed. Simply bring it up on screen, go to the View menu, and set it as Make Current Form the default form viewed. And what that means now is for any client that I open up and I go to Forms, that will be the default item that comes up first. It's a great tool. Most of us use the tax summary. It's a great way to set the program to remember that. And lastly, Control P for print is a quick way to open up the print dialog instead of searching for the icon. You know, you can do this from the client list, the detail input, or the forms, but the icon only appears at the Forms tab. So Control P is your shortcut to bring up the print tax return dialog. Another good one to have. And Escape, of course, makes that dialog go away, as it does with most dialogs in the program. That's it. Those are my handy keystrokes. Hope you enjoy. And don't forget, they're all available in the Quick Start PDF that's a part of this actual video.